Hey there everyone, Luke here, and yeah, this will be the final review before the Christmas period. So like I said in the last review, this coming one on this Sunday, which is Christmas Day, that won't be happening until later on next week. So late next week, that's when you'll get the review of chapter 160, but that's not what you want to hear. You want to hear my thoughts on the fact that we finally got it. We finally officially got it. It was officially announced. We are getting the Mission Yozakura family anime. Now, it's coming in 2024, so you know what this means. We've got at least one more year guaranteed of Mission Yozakura family material. So that means another like 48 chapters. So really excited about that, and hopefully it can continue on past 2024 into 2025. Because if the anime is successful, they'll want to probably keep the manga going for quite some time. And based on what happens in this chapter, it seems like we are going to be getting some time with Mission Yozakura before it finally ends. So that'll be that. So that's all exciting news to talk about. Now we're obviously going to go into more details about it later on when we do our State of Shonen Jump on Control Chaos. So look forward to that. So yeah, without further ado, let's talk about the chapter. Alright, so this is chapter 159 titled Momo and Ri. So finally getting a chapter focusing on Ri for once, because we don't really get many chapters focused on her. So it's nice that we're finally getting one at the climax of Momo's arc when he's finally been taken out. It took a while, but I feel like at this point it's well earned. We've been building up to this moment for quite some time, and where he leaves us off just leaves us with even more questions. We got so many questions answered in this arc, but it's just left us with having even more questions, which I have several that I hope gets answered as we go further down. But anyway, we start off with quite a nice colour page of Tao in a red background holding Yui in its sword form. So pretty cool colour page, and I hope the one that we're going to be getting next week, actually this week, chapter 106, the one we get this week, has something to do with like the anime announcement. I mean, we did get one drawn by Godaria Sensei, so maybe we'll get another one in the similar style. But I digress. Moving on to the chapter itself, it starts off with the cherries that Momo had at the end of the last chapter, where he was like, okay, you two, okay, Koricho and Tao, you're going to learn about what's going on here. It's all thanks to these berries, which he calls memory berries, or total tangent here, but it just reminds me of the member berries from South Park. Remember Stormtroopers? Oh, I remember Stormtroopers. Remember Tampopo? Oh yeah, I remember Tampopo. It just reminds me of that. And the fact that he calls them memory berries, you could just call it member berries. Oh, that's just like a funny reference I picked up on. But yeah, so these memory berries, which I hope we get more of these. Like maybe like a mission next time is that it's revealed that Momo has had them scattered throughout the area of the city or wherever he's been, and they have to go and find it to kind of unlock more memories of Momo. That could be something that we go into as we move further along. But anyway, he says he cultivated it, hoping he could give it to them someday. Today is that day. So it might just be these berries, but I would say there could be more out there. You just never know. But yeah, Koricho is very suspicious about this, and he's just like, yeah, you should know it's far too late to be going down a trip by memory lane, considering you were about to meet your end, Dad. So what are you playing out here? It's too late. But Momo cowers it. It's like, yes, this is why I'm doing it, because if I don't do it now, you guys are never going to find out what is really going on here. And he crushes the berries, which sends out a profuse of cherry blossoms, which engulf Tao and Koricho, and obviously sends them into a pass with with a symbol that looks like the symbol for Tampopo. So we're in a Tampopo memory flashback from Momo's perspective, which is quite interesting because it means we get to see one character that we haven't seen in a very, very long time. Well, I say very, very long time, but more like about a year or so. And of course, Tayo being Tayo, he just gives off the what the hell is going on face as we hear the voice going like, "Oh, the operation will commence in 10 minutes." As we see it's Kawashita. So yeah, not seen this character in a while. So it's very interesting that we're actually getting to see him again, and it's actually incorporated in a really well, I wouldn't say creative way, but in a very realistic way. Like, obviously, he's been in contact with Momo for years and years and years at this point, so Momo's obviously going to have a lot of memories about him, and a lot of people were saying that because Momo's in a pose of he's got his hands down and there's a screen behind him, they were referring to Dobby from My Hero Academia, because we just had the Dobby is Toya chapter adapted into the My Hero anime, which was pretty good in my opinion, even though I'm kind of not really focusing on My Hero at this moment in time. I'm just kind of skimming through it to be like, come on, let's get the series wrapped up. But that's something that we're going to be discussing, like I said, in the State of Shonen Jump, which, like I said, as well, I've been saying for a while now, Pie Jams, it is coming, so you'll get a chance to do your rant about Earthchild. Look forward to that rant, and I know you're going to be watching it, so I cannot wait for you to let it all loose. Get all that out. And oh my god, I really wish if there was a blooming cold erase so that Pirates could just raise Earthchild out of existence. Like, it never actually exists. Or maybe he gets Koichiro's blooming and gets sent into the void. But yeah, so yeah, Kawashita's in this message just being replayed of just like, oh, I'll transport Ria Mutsumi's hearts and bloods into Tsubumi. Your orders are to observe until the compatibility tests are complete. And Mo was like, yes, I understand. And it gets Tayo and Koichiro looking confused, like, wait, what is going on? Before Koichiro's like, oh no, it's that day, which is probably referring to the day, the actual, way back at the beginning of the series when we saw, was it Koichiro or was it Momo? It was one of the two. More than likely it was Koichiro. Let's see. Yeah, it was Koichiro that took Mutsumi out of that blazing building. So it's probably thinking like, oh no, it's back to that day, the day that I became the psychotic, overprotective brother, in a sense, more so than I am now. But as it turns out, Ri is actually conscious in this chapter, is able to speak to Momo. As she's going, now is not the time to panic. And this chapter really does give another insight into Momo and think like, oh no, he wasn't really all that evil. I mean, he was evil, like he was doing some despicable things, but at the same time, he kind of had a bit of complexity to him, and had some demons going on in his mind as well, going on in his life as well, way before he became a Yozakura, as we're going to find out in this chapter. But Ri goes, now is not the time to panic, I am prepared. So she's like, yes, I am prepared to die, but at the same time, I don't want to die without a fight. So good on you, Ri, for standing your ground and being like, yeah, I may die, but it doesn't mean I'm not going to go out go on like a weakling, and it's all for the sake of our children. We must expose Yozakura family's true enemy. Now, whatever this true enemy is, if it's like the gold rank spies, because again, we don't get any update of Kai and Alex in this chapter, and they are still on the boat. But yeah, whether it's the gold rank spies or just the spy association in general, or whether it's like this, or whether it's like that shadowy figure we saw a few chapters, like about 20 or 30 chapters ago, or whether we are going to get the Zodiac. The Zodiac group, the Zodiac villains, which which are all indicative of tattoos that are on the Gorak spies. So maybe the Gorak spies are the Zodiacs. We just don't know, like, whether or not they're true enemy. Although it's kind of, although one thing is kind of interesting here is that we get some little snippets of, like, it could be. Like I've wanted to be saying for ages, and I've been saying it on Twitter. What came before Mutsumi? Like, I know Scarred Hero brought this up to me of just like Tsubumi, not Mutsumi. Tsubumi was descended from ninjas, so maybe we're gonna get her ninja clan before it became the Yozakura clan, or we're gonna get Momo's family that where he came from, and maybe they're both working together, or maybe they're separate, trying to see who can get the Yozakura family themselves. We just don't know, but I feel like it is going to be like the true enemy is going to be what came before the Yozakura family, because we still need to find out exactly how Tsubumi actually came to be in a Yozakura, how she actually became the head, how she developed the blooming power, although that's probably already happened and somebody's probably going to point that out. But at the same time, I like to have a more of a reminder. But at the same time, my main question is, like, who came before Tsubumi? That's the one question I want answered before the beginning. So it's like, what came before? And yeah, Tile and even Karicho is just like a bit like taken back by this, like, wait, there's another enemy out here, even though he obviously has an idea, like, yeah, there's more than one enemy afterwards, because there's going to be tons of enemies after the Yozakura family. It's the top-ranked spy family. Everyone is after Mutsumi, and at the same time, everyone would want to get the blooming power. So yeah, whatever this true enemy is, chances are it's going to be dangerous then. Tampopo and Momo all put together, and I cannot wait to find out exactly what they're going to be, because I feel like after this chapter or after the next chapter will probably, obviously because of the ending of this chapter, it'll probably wrap up this arc, and then we'll probably get like about, I'd say, at the beginning of the new year, we get like 4 or 5 chapters of just like winding down, just doing everyday slice of life, because this has been a major arc. Like, this whole thing from almost near the beginning of the year to where we are right now, it's all been like one continuous story arc, focusing mostly on Karicho and Momo. Primarily on Momo, but Karicho definitely has played a major part. Like, it's been the year of Karicho and Momo, and I feel like at this point we really need to take a step back and relax. But yeah, so we got the true enemy, whoever that is, that remains to be seen. And Ray goes on and says, we have oral historians passed from one family head to the next. In these stories, Tsubumi, the first Yozakura head, hated her life. She wished her death. Like, why did she hate her life? I guess again, it's probably because of the fact that she became a tree, so she kind of wanted to wither away and die. But at the same time, how did she come to have that mentality? She says, these methods, this desperate desire for life, is not all what our story says. And this young man Kawashita, he knew nothing about us. So this is all kind of a bit confusing for me. Like, Kawashita probably. Kawashita obviously did know about the Yozakuras, or whether he knew just about Tsubumi and not about anyone else. Like, is that what Reed's trying to say here? Like, if someone could give me an insight into that would be great. But she goes on and says, we don't need to keep you a secret from him. I think somewhere in Tsubumi's shadow, someone tempted Tsubumi arranged for your birth. So yeah, someone who obviously has connections to Momo, maybe an ancestor of Momo before he was born, that had connections to Tsubumi, like, or maybe and bringing the families together, or like I said, it could be the case of, like, these groups are bringing them together just so that they can be like, okay, we've brought them together, now it's winner take all. Or maybe they are both working together, like, we've got all different groups all scattered around, and whether this true enemy is one group or it's just several smaller groups, again, remains to be seen. But yeah, she goes on and says, and sent you to become part of the Yozakura family. There must be someone there. And yeah, Tao's just like, all of this is just like going in Tao's head, but he's being like, wait, what true enemy? Someone arranged Momo's birth? Momo's not actually a bad guy. He has a sympathetic past. Like, who is this person? What's that? Probably all these questions like who, what, where, why, how. That's probably what's going through Taylor's head as Creature's just standing there, like just being like, just taking in all the information calmly and collectively, whereas Tayo's probably more all over the place about it all. Reed continues on and says, "Oh, this is my last request, Momo. Expose them, find out who the Yozakura family's true enemy is for our children." So yeah, we finally got confirmation of what the next major story arc or the next major storyline is going to be, or the next major saga is going to be, because we've had the Tampopo saga, then we've had the Momo saga, now we're going to have like the true enemy saga. Although whether or not this means that after the true enemy is taken care of, whether or not we're going to have more enemies that sprout up because of the consequences of taking down the true enemy, that remains to be seen, because the author could just leave it of like, okay, they're taking out the true enemy, that's it, end of series. Or it could be like, okay, the true enemy is taken out, but what's the consequences after that? That it could go one of the two ways. Either one is perfectly valid. Depends how long they actually want to keep the series going. But yeah, Momo says like, I can't do this. I have no memory of my life before coming here, which is probably something that, again, Tayo and Creature are probably going to be like, okay, we need to go and find out exactly how Momo came to be before he became a part of the family, before he actually gave birth to the Yozakura siblings. And he says, I think Tsubumi may be manipulating my blooming through dreams. The reason she gifted me with this blooming was to erase my memories and send me to Yozakura family as a blank slate. So yeah, this was very interesting to find out when I read this chapter for the first time. That I honestly thought that Ri was the one who gave Momo the bloom, but no, it was actually Tsubumi, which means that Kawashita obviously didn't get the blooming from Tsubumi herself, although whether or not he got it from another head, again, remains to be seen, because he's been friends with Tsubumi friends with Tsubumi for over 100 years. So it's very possible he got the blooming from one of the other descending heads at some point. But yeah, Momo says it's a chain that binds me, strings that let Tsubumi use me as she pleases. There's no way, there's no telling when I lose my mind again. So so it seems like, based on what Momo is saying here, and the fact that we've obviously been saying him as a split personality, it might have been Tsubumi speaking out loud, but he might have interpreted it as like Ri is speaking out, or it might have been that Tsubumi was speaking and she could actually communicate with Ri even in death. That could have been a possibility. That could have been happening all this time, which might have explained why it seemed that Momo had like a split personality going on inside him all this time. And obviously, like it says here, it's a chain that binds him, strings that let Tsubumi use him as it pleases. Although, because this is a flashback, that he might have been able to overcome it, but at the same time he probably couldn't have overcome it because of how powerful Tsubumi is. And this is where Ri is just like, who needs a mind you're afraid to lose? Let's throw it away. My once in a lifetime blood vow. You were aware you were already strong enough without it, so I decided to hold it off until the time was right. And she figured, okay, this time when Momo's at its lowest, this is the time that I'm actually going to do it. And again, very interesting that Ri didn't use this to give a blooming to someone. Like, she obviously gave it to Momo to increase his blooming capabilities. And I initially thought when I first read this chapter, wait, so does this mean Ri can give a blooming out because she's technically not transferring the body to a non-blooming user? But like I said here, it kind of throws it out of the window where it says like once in a lifetime blood. And I did go back and check. Ban did explain to Tayo, like, yeah, once the blood is used from a Yozakura head, it cannot be used again. It cannot be used again, even if you use it to power up something. And yeah, it throws that theory out of the window right then and there. And I looks like an idiot, although not as much as an idiot as I looked like on Twitter when I was saying like, yeah, we need to meet the other heads because we've only met a few. When Creature took out, which by the way, we need to get an update on them, like what exactly happened to them. Did they die and go back into Tsubumi, or are they still in the shadows? Like, Yeah, because hardly any of them did anything in the series. I mean, we got two Max that did something, but at the same time, we need to get more interactions with the other heads if they're still alive or they're still out there or they're zombies in some capacity. But yeah, Ree goes on and says like, yeah, my blood, because it's not, because it's being used on someone who already has a blooming, it will boost your strength and you'll be able to guard your heart from Sabumi. Okay, so yeah, Momo was able to guard his heart from Sabumi, although Sabumi could have easily just gotten in and taken over Momo because he's very mentally unstable at times, if you get my meaning. And Ree continues to say, yeah, my blood will boost your booming, use it on yourself, shut away anything where no one can reach you, hide in a dream of madness. Okay, so yeah, this explains Momo completely. Like, yeah, that whole dream of like, let's give our family back together, one big happy family. Yeah, that was madness created. So all of this that's happened with Momo, that's kind of Ree's fault because he's only doing what Ree wanted him to, be in a dream of madness to kind of like protect himself from Sabumi. So yeah, anyone who wants to be mad about Momo for what he's been doing, you can kind of blame Ree somewhat. So again, I guess that means that I was kind of right about Ree potentially being an antagonist. Yeah, this is all being very strange here. Ree continues on to reiterate to Momo that no matter what happens now, whoever forced you to be born and whoever is trying to use you, you've got to tell them that you're not theirs to control anymore, and you're no longer their pawn. You are a Yozakura, Momo, and that's who you are. So this again gives me vibes of like maybe we're gonna get it again, like I've been saying, like Subumi's ancestors as well as Momo's ancestors being the true enemy of the Yozakura, and they obviously don't like what the Yozakura family has come and want to take it out completely. That could be the possibility, whatever that is, whether it's the Zodiac theory, that remains to be seen. So she goes on and says they'll leave whoever it is with no choice. They'll have to show themselves to stop you. Oh my god, is it the Gold Rank Spies? Because they technically are stopping Momo right now. And they've had to, and the fact that Momo's got away from their clutches and they're going after him and they've revealed themselves after he got away. Is it the Gold Rank Spies? Are they gonna be the antagonists? Is Kai gonna be an antagonist? Is Alex gonna be an antagonist? I am on board with that. Although I'm not on board with Kai because Kai is cool. We need more Kai in the series. But yeah, they go on and says, this is the end of the road for us, but our children still have a future. Let's fight for them together to the end. And Momo accepts this, and he apologizes to Ree for probably everything that he's going to be doing from now on after this flashback, as he takes her blood, and that's the end of the flashback. But it's not the end of Momo at this point, as he says, oh, and so my role comes to an end. Well, no, this is the last part, Tayo. I entrust to you the plan Ree and I built, and that's where the chapter ends. So, oh my word, Momo is the most hard to kill character in current Shonen Jump, because even though he is dying, he's like, oh, by the way, I've got something else important to tell. Oh, it's the end for me. However, I've still got something else important to tell you. So yeah, he's just getting it all out. Be like, okay, I've got not much time, so you're gonna have to get all this information out at once. But yeah, oh my god. So pretty good chapter to end before Christmas, because it's given us a lot of speculations. It's given us some answers to some questions, like why Momo is the way he is, but at the same time it's just leaving us with so many other questions, like who caused Momo to be born, and more importantly, what came before Sabumi. Like I've been saying, the ninjas, but seriously, who are they all about? And are we going to get like the Zodiac villain group as being the next major threat to the Yozakura, like the true threat? Although that could be like, oh, this is not the true threat. This is actually the true threat. Because we were working under the guise of this group. So it could be a case of just like that, like it's just like, oh, this is the true enemy, it's this true enemy. Although I know a lot of people don't like that. Like it's like, oh, this was not the real antagonist, it was this guy. Oh, this guy is a pawn of this guy. Oh, this whole group was a pawn of this even bigger mastermind. Oh my god. it's probably going to go like that, but at the same time, depending on how the author can do it, it could be interesting. But I feel like one thing I really need to know before the series ends, just give me confirmation of, like, are there aunts and uncles out there? Are they part of this whole conspiracy against the Yozakura family? Oh my god. But at the same time, the fact that I picked up on that line, like, when if Momo gets away, breaks away, then they're gonna have no choice. They're gonna have to come after him, and the fact that the Gorank spies have come after him, is it gonna be like a twist, like the Gorank spies and the Spy Association in general are the main antagonists, the true enemy of the Yozakura family? Because the Yozakura family is more of an independent, and they can survive without the Spy Association. Maybe it's that mentality. I don't know, and I'm just throwing out things at the wall here to see what sticks. But at the same time, Momo's getting more insight to Momo as a character, showing that he's more complex than we were initially like. Oh, very nice point to end off before Christmas, and to see where we actually go from here. And hopefully next chapter, that's a perfect way to end off the year itself. But at the same time, guys, what do you think of this chapter? Let me know, like, subscribe, comment, all that jazz. And this will be Lasherluke signing off. Later, guys.